Hey, this is Dan Martin. I'm CEO with IFX, and I wanted to thank you for logging into this week's Franchise Focus. If you're a franchisor, one of the key things that you're concerned about is how well your franchisees are doing. And it's important to recognize that oftentimes your franchisees don't know how well they're doing. In fact, in many cases, franchisees don't know what franchisees don't know. So reporting, or KPI reporting, or consolidated reporting is critical for a franchisor or any supplier supplying franchisors to make sure that they have an understanding of how their program is actually producing an ROI, or tangible results. So one key area of reporting that a lot of franchisors don't get into is local ad spend reporting. You probably all have an FDD that requires franchisees to actually report to you what they're spending on a local basis in terms of direct mail or local internet advertising or events or sponsorships that they have. But ultimately, do you actually obtain that information? I know we develop a couple database programs for clients that actually track that information for franchisees, so the franchisor knows what's going across the board with regard to local ad fund spends, and are franchisees complying, or are they getting into trouble, spending too much or too little on the local ad promotions that help drive traffic to their business. So reporting for local ad spend is a key area that you might want to make a note of, and there are applications that can help you out with that and help franchisees to gauge how they are in terms of their local ad spend versus other franchisees. A critical point of benchmarking. Another thing in this month's newsletter I wanted to talk about was consolidated e-commerce. Are you generating reports from individual franchisees as to what they're purchasing from vendors, approved vendors that you have in front of them? You know, a whole lot of franchisors have approved vendors, list them in their FDD, require franchisees to purchase from them, but don't bother to track if franchisees are purchasing anything or anything that's inaccurate, or if it's high or low or indifferent. So ultimately, if you can develop a database that simply grabs the data once a week from, let's say, your top 10 suppliers across all of your franchisees, their purchases, then as a franchisor you can have a feel for what's going on across the board. And you can negotiate consolidated breaks or cumulative breaks at the vendor level to take advantage of pricing that you can pass through to your franchisees. And again, like the local ad spend, if you run into trouble with a franchisee underbuying or overbuying from a particular approved supplier, then you've got the record in-house as the franchisor. A whole lot of franchisors have approved suppliers, but they don't take down what is actually being purchased between their franchisees and those approved suppliers. They just leave it up to the suppliers. So if you want to really stay on top of reporting, those are two areas right now that you can get into with very simple technology to gain a foothold for knowing exactly what's going on in your franchise chain and immediately be proactive in terms of helping out your franchisees. Again, you can always email me, dan@ifxonline.com, if you have any questions, and read the rest of this newsletter and kind of give you some specifics about these particular topics. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks a lot.